when you're at that stage and you're thinking that you may need to hire someone, but you're not sure, but you think you do, I recommend going through a temp agency first. Because if you go through a temp agency, you're not liable with any employee. And a lot of people, when they first start out and they hire somebody, they don't really know all the different paperwork and insurances that you need. But going through a temp agency, you don't have to worry about anything because there's workers' comp insurance comes with that employee, liability insurance comes with that employee. A lot of the forms that need to be sent out to the city and state and tax payroll, they handle everything. So all you have to do is at the end of the month or week, you pay the invoice they send you, and that's it. So there's a lot of good that can come with a temp agency. Another thing that I would recommend going through a temp agency for, especially at the beginning, is so that you kind of get an idea of what it's like to have to come up with payroll every week or every 2 weeks. Because, a lot of people don't realize that at first. They need a lot of cash flow coming in so they can afford to hit payroll every week. Going through a temp agency will give you an idea, and if it doesn't work out or if you can't afford it, well, you can always say, you know what, don't send me anybody anymore for now. And all you have to do is just pay the invoice, and you're not tied to any liabilities like payroll taxes or anything like that. So I would recommend going to a temp agency as soon as possible, at least filling out the application, let them know your situation, what kind of business you have, and keep a door open so that if you are ready to hire somebody, try going through the temp agency. Now, there are some negatives with going through a temp agency, like one, the cost. The cost of going through a temp agency could cost about 5 to 6 times more than if you did payroll in-house. So if you hired your own person, you can pay up to 5 times more going through a temp agency. And some other things I don't really like about the temp agency is a lot of workers that you get coming through there aren't as committed to the job as you would like them to. Because they're just trying to get through the day, maybe pay a few bills and then not work anymore. But every now and then you'll find somebody that's an all-star, and you just be so happy that you went through the temp agency to find this person. Now, if there is somebody that you really like, a lot of times a temp agency will make you hire that person through the temp agency a minimum of 30 to 90 days or something like that. So you can't just pull a temp worker and say, hey, I'm keeping them, unless the temp agency you go through will let you do that kind of thing. But from my experience, they usually have a minimum requirement that you have to hire them through the temp agency for at least 30 days or 90 days. So anyway, just something to think about. But again, I like going through the temp agency when I need help because I've got my full-time, my strong all-stars, but every once in a while we need workers to help clean gardens and this or that. And it's nice being able to call a temp agency and just having them send workers for me so we can get jobs filled that require a lot of people on deck. So just something to think about. Talk to you later.